Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
It's hard to transfer the licenses. And if you've got any problems, and some of you have criminal records, forget about it. Next. So you transfer the license into one of the other board members, if you trust them. And that's when you're going to want to bring your Goomba cousin, who you think you trust, who's going to fuck you in the ass. But she should have fired that CFO long ago. I don't care if he moved from fucking Botswana. But the gals, and she's as tough as nails, I think it's because they drop the kid or they bleed 5 days a month. I'm not sure what it is, but they're softer sometimes. But she's a hard bitch. I mean, she's tough as nails. But there's a soft underbelly. Maybe that's when, I don't know. Maybe that's where the uterus is. I don't know. But the toughest broads on the planet are not as tough as the toughest guys on the planet about certain things. Yeah, question.
But now you're back to the softness, so to go to your board, you're back to the Phantom Equity.
No. Oh, no, that's exactly right, the Phantom Equity.
But she had to do license.
Oh, well, but it's still they got fucked.
You don't have a choice.
No, you don't, they got fucked. And remember, when you're setting up these corporations or these GmbHs or these limited whatever, you tell the lawyers, I want it to be shareholder friendly, not employee friendly. You want it to be major shareholder friendly, which is you. And this thing about the supermajorities, you're not going to ever take any private equity. You need a super, but so don't forget that shit about 75%. But see, the lawyers and the accounts that she has across the world always think that you're not going to be able to grow without somebody else's money. It's not true. As soon as you bring private equity, everybody in this room, they don't need you. They have a healthcare division. They need you like a fucking wart on the end of your dick. And I know you've convinced your significant others all dicks have big warts on them, but I mean, because the ones you're fucking are stupid. Why would anybody fuck you in this room? Because they're more desperate than you are. Now, if you're all rich, I mean, rich guys get fucked morning, lunch, afternoon break, afternoon drinks, dinner. I mean, because if you don't think money can buy happiness, you don't know where to shop. But you're not there yet. Other thing she said is that and listen, I mean, she does housework and I mean, all this shit. And you can't even brush your fucking teeth and wipe your own ass and make a cold call. The ones that are dedicated, now she doesn't even consider that shit sacrifice. I looked around at the three slags in here when she's saying she's doing, you don't do all that shit.
I do.
You do? I mean, it's who is willing to pay the biggest price to action? Who? Amongst you. Because it's all certainly possible. And when the board moves to follow their founder, that's big time. I mean, in fact, I've never seen that happen in my 50 years in business. And assuming Viking, you're not fucking everybody, blowing everybody, I mean, that's extraordinary. It really is. It is. And then she gives them phantom income. Oh, that's like, Miss Universe gave you AIDS. Nobody believed you. Or the clap. Miss Universe, Miss World gave you the fucking, what's the other venereal disease? Gonorrhea. Yeah. I mean, nobody believed you. But also, Rand, that's the only way Miss Universe said, fuck you. You give her $1 million and then she'll give you fucking AIDS. Now that's a bitch. There are only bad. There are no good options. Because you're going to be responsible for past, current, and future liabilities. And normally, they have to do with taxes. Not always, but normally. Or, I love the guys when they buy a shell corporation. This is my favorite example. They buy a shell and they tell you the shell's clean. And you're going to put all your shit in the shell corporation. It's on the shelf. They call them shelf companies in Europe. You're buying a shelf company that's clean, it's got no liabilities, no nothing, okay? And then you're on the doorsteps of going public 11 years later, and 8,000 shareholders show up. And you've only got 4. Because it wasn't clean. There's no liability insurance that you can buy when somebody sells you a non-clean shell corporation. Why? Because it's extremely difficult to have a clean shell. But because you wanted to say $8 or $800 or 800,000 euro, whatever the reason, you bought it. You think that it's a shortcut. It's a tip. You go ahead and do it. And then you get fucked. There are no shortcuts. That's bullshit. And now she's done a whole bunch of this, because that's about a year and a half old. She's done a whole bunch of shit, and she's gotten used to Houston, almost. But moving is just extraordinarily not difficult. It's hard. I mean, just think uplift, 4 or 5 families, and then she fires one, which I think is amusing, It's not amusing, really. And when one of the things, remind me, I'll say it now while I'm thinking about it. The offers that you're making, and I thought of it when she said she bought the company and went from 800,000 to 50 grand, right? Our first offer is an embarrassing offer. You want to piss the other side off, and you're afraid because your funnel of potential acquisition candidates is so small. You're afraid that he's going to run or she's going to run away. You want your first offer. It's like the Egyptian rug peddler. It took us 9,000 years, and there's 40 million stitches in this magic carpet, and blah, 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 okay, yeah. And we wanted 800,000 euros. I'll give you $50. Take it or leave it. 50. And then, did you say 500? I say 50. And I start walking away. When Sally and I were in Egypt, during the riots and the shooting people in the streets and all that shit, we're at the Valley of the Kings. And Sally stops at every fucking booth. And they haven't made a sale in 9 weeks, these guys, because they've been cordoned off. And every time she stopped, the guys, we had security guards. This is a god show, fighting the people off because Sally with her blonde hair and her diamonds and I said, $50. By the time we got to the armed bus, $80. 800,000 to 80. He says, you're killing me. Reminded me being in the diamond business with the Hasidic Jews. Danny Pina, he'll kill you. He rapes you. He takes the last bit of life. I used to love to make the Hasidic Jews cry over their diamonds. Literally cry, sobbing and shit all over their tassels and shit. He's a butcher. And then they start calling me Nazi. And then I knew I had him. When a Hasidic Jew calls you a Nazi, you got him. You got him on their knees. The only thing I didn't do with a Luger, boom, boom, double tap him in the head. Okay, what do you think of the Viking bitch? Other than she's not you. Yes, sir.
She talked about a management clause.
No, it's a management contract.
Oh, a management contract.
She corrected herself later on. But there's no such a thing as a management clause.
She talks about how she spends a lot of her time checking the bank accounts and growing the revenue.
Because a lot of the people that work in these home health deals are minorities. A lot of Filipinos, a lot of Asian, a lot of Chinese, a lot Afghans. And then she said, you have to, their ethnicities. That was her politically correct. They're all thieves. That's what she meant.
I'm just wondering if, you always say 95% of your time is looking for new deals.
Well, she said right now, that's why she doesn't want to be CEO.
Right, okay.
She said this is contrary to the QLA and Dan Peña. And some of the stuff that she mentioned, which I knew about, there's a section in your weekly report that says, what am I not telling Dan? And that part of the report is normally, let's say the rest of the report's this long, that part of the report stretches from here to the wall. Because all the shit, and in fact, it was a Polish kid, now that I think about it, who said, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we don't tell you. It's not in the report. There's not a question for it. I hadn't really thought about that. And so we changed the report, this was about 3 years ago, to add all-encompassing, I used to say, what am I lying about? No, what am I not telling Dan? It's like raising kids. Unless you ask the kid the exact right question, they don't think they're lying to you. They, like a wannabe over here, also ran. He's convinced that he did a good deal now because he did a deal. When you go to jail over that deal, you come back, I'll pay for you to come here, and you stand up in front of everybody, and that deal, how it turned out so well. When you're doing, and you won't do well in jail. Unless you're a lot tougher than you look, you won't do well in jail. So we added that section, and Jesus Christ, it was like opening a Pandora's box. It was like getting an Israeli to argue about Palestine. All kinds of shit was in there. And then I thanked the guy. That kid, unfortunately, had a nervous breakdown. It was his suggestion, that Polish kid. He looked like Lurch. You know the Addams Family on TV? There's a series, and there was a big Cyclops. That's what he looked like, this Polish kid. Big, bony, like a Neanderthal. Good kid. And so Lurch, we named it what am I not telling Dan? But I'm not going to be reading this. So if you lie to yourself, and most of us do, myself included, we bullshit ourselves just like also ran. Because we got to make ourselves feel better. We can't be the biggest putz on the planet. And so we bullshit ourselves. Just like our kids. For those of you that have kids, almost everybody's kid in this room is worthless. I can give you a list, how you should judge your kids. They're all worthless. You'd put a bullet in their head. You want to go to Oxford. You want to go to Harvard. You want to go to MIT. You want to be a top 1% scholar. They're worthless. But you bullshitted yourself into believing, just as your parents bullshitted themselves into believing that you were worth a shit. And that's life. Our kids used to say, but Johnny does it. I don't give a fuck what Johnny does. You got to get straight A's. You got a letter in 4 sports. You got to be able to run a mile when you're 9 years old in less than 5 minutes. Because you bullshit. Because the standards are so fucking low now. They're just low. The only real athletic standards anymore are the Olympics. Or that level of, what do you call it? And we've had Olympians here. And they say it's not like it used to be. Well, it's always, 35 years ago, he wouldn't have qualified, or some bullshit like that. What else about, yes, sir?
She seemed to have a hard time following some of the steps.
Yes, she did, really just bad. Like you are, you little shit.
So with hers, it was the percentage thing, and then the board, she didn't
it's
make
in the
sure.
book. The percentage you give to the board members is in the fucking book. And the book is, the best bang for buck, the best information for free on my website is the 2018 electronic copy of your first 100 million that's been updated with author's notes. That's the best thing. If you never had anything else from me, that is the update. And I hate that book because where's Kat? Kat made me. I agreed in a weak moment. She says, we could electronically update it. And it sounds like a good idea. But then having to read page after page of myself, and then author's note, which means to update the book. And then Kat would remind me, oh, fuck, what a pain in the ass that was. I'll never do that again. That's for sure, that's a never. I'll do that again. But that's the best bang for you. But it's how you break down these shares is online in at least 4 or 5 places. But now she's got phantom income. So now when the guy gets 6%, he's going to hate her because he's got $300,000 in taxes to pay and he's got no income. That's why you don't give the shares out. That's why. And then you're doing the deals after you've given the stock out. And there's no basis. There's no tax liability. But guys do it. And probably the biggest complaint that we get from the people that don't come to the seminar is they wait till they've done 4 or 5 deals because they're not sure they want to keep the board of directors. So now you got $7 million worth of basis, and a guy that's got 5% has got $375,000 worth of taxes to pay. It doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it shouldn't be that way. When you bring on somebody, when you replace a chairman after you've done 10 or 20 deals, that is a taxable event. And most guys like me won't come on unless you are going to pay the taxes. I'm not going to pay taxes on something I didn't get. The only other way to handle that is to give them stock options, not founder's stock. And the stock options will be at the basis of wherever the company is at the time that he comes on or she comes on. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but can you clarify what she haven't done? She haven't, because we're supposed to give the shares or percentage at the board meeting. So she avoided.
No, but she didn't do it at the board meeting.
So she haven't done it.
No, she's done it now. But she had 3 or 4 acquisitions, and by the time they got around to it, I think they had 5 acquisitions. So, I don't want the stock. A couple of guys said, no, not me. So, but the way you cure that, and it's not really a cure, because now, even though the board members were there from the beginning, they're going to be compensated as if they started after 2 years, and either they pay taxes on the stock they get, or they're going to get options. And the options can't be backdated. They cannot be retrospective. Although Steve Jobs, they did it for Steve Jobs. You're not Steve Jobs. And the company paid the taxes on those retrospective options that he got many years ago before he died. But you'll get, if the company's going to 10 million, the company's got a 10 million basis now, okay? I give him options, 1 million shares. So his 1 million shares are from where it grows from 10 million to 20 million, he'll get 10% of that uplift. And he'll exercise those options when you exit at some point or when you sell the options. The system is built around, they get free founders equity, no money involved from the beginning. And you give the option, or you give the free founders stock the day that you incorporate. It's a simultaneous transaction. And if you read the shit that you're going to get and you explain it to the goddamn lawyers, they'll know what to do. But remember, everything you want is to be major shareholder friendly. Fuck small shareholders. Fuck the shareholders when you go public. Fuck everybody except you. I'm on board, pull up the gangplank. And the lawyers will say, they'll write you a letter. Pursuant to our conversation, blah, 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 covering their ass, and we don't recommend that. Then you'll say, yeah, I want it. Then they'll write you another letter, and another letter, and another letter, trying to beat you down so to convince you not to do that. Because it's unheard of. Just like you can fire any cocksucker you ever hired. We're going to talk about that in a couple of days. I'll show you how to fire people. I don't give a fuck where you live. I don't give a fuck where you live. That's bullshit. The world is upside fucking down if you can't fire a cocksucker. You heard Simon the Nazi, right? I fired him the second day. You hear that? Fuck me. Fuck her. Take me to court. I used to say, fuck you, strong letter to follow, cunt. Or asshole, depending on their gender. And you go back in court records and see that. The judge will say, why did I get this letter with this guy? Fucking cunt on it. Because that's how they talk. And you're going to get fucked for practice. Even the worst fuck I ever had was pretty damn good, though. The worst fuck I had was pretty fucking good. But that is aside. Questions? Yes, sir.
Which ethnicities are generally good to deal with?
Mexicans, Cubans, Koreans, Japanese, Chinamen, Afghans, Indians, you name it. They're all thieves. Arabs, anybody from the Middle East, all thieves.
Who's not?
Nobody. Except me. And I am. And when we're off the camera, I'll tell you why I'm so fucking honest and I don't lie, which she alluded to. I mean, there's a reason. And it's Pavlov's dog. I can't even think about, because I know what happened to me once before. And even though I know it can't happen again, just the thought of it happening again to me keeps me honest. Keeps me honest. That's why I wanted to go mano a mano with the devil. I'd tear his fucking jugular out with my teeth. What? I'm going to say it out when we're off camera. I'm an honest motherfucker. I see this fucking deadbeat from Arizona, a $50 bill, well, they don't have 50, $20 bill falls out of his pocket at the airport. I'll chase him down for 3 blocks to give him the $10 bill that fell out of his pocket, even though I didn't take it out of his pocket. We had some experiences in life. Yeah.
Is it because of your dad?
Yeah, it is because of my dad. The only reason I'm honest is because of my dad. But some of the things that he did to me, not sexually did to me, but, you know. I mean, there was no lower life than a thief to my father. A thief with stealing stuff or a thief with words. No lower. There was nothing worse. It was below the devil. And I had some practices as a youth that the devil would have liked. Remember, the fallen angel is the devil, supposedly. I mean, he was an angel first. And then he fell out of the realm with, God, supposedly. Well, even though they said I was an angel, but as my cousin would say, they didn't say which angel was it, Dan. Because I was a rough motherfucker. Gets my juices going just thinking about it. When I put you down, you were down until your brains came out of your skull. And then I didn't stop beating. Okay, YouTube, on that happy note, go fuck yourself.